I'm almost afraid to tell you because you're going to say, no, it's what you always say. But it happens to be true. They have two giant generators brought into Central Park to take care of whatever's needed for the marathon. They're kicking residents who have checked into hotels because their houses are gone, kicking them out of hotels to put the marathoners, the people associated with the marathon, in the hotels. You know, why? It doesn't compute on a common sense scale. This doesn't make any sense at all. You've got people that can't find gasoline. People's homes are gone. The beach is gone. The devastation in Staten Island, now people are beginning to see how truly bad it is. The suffering 6-hour lines for gasoline in Midtown Manhattan. Stupid rule, you can't get into the city unless you got 3 people in your car. Who wants to come into the city? And yet they're doing the marathon. And they say, well, it's for the money. That's not what. Yes, it's for the money. But who's in charge here? Let me ask you a question. Who in New York is a big proponent of global warming? In fact, who just endorsed Obama because he's right on global warming? It'd be Mayor Bloomberg, correct? Now, what do global warmers believe? Well, they believe a lot of cockamamie BS. But they also believe that sea levels are rising. Yes. You see, it's getting warmer, and the polar bears are vanishing, and the ice flows are melting, and the glaciers are melting, and the sea levels are rising because it's so sweltering hot out there. Bloomberg has been mayor for how long? 11 years? Bloomberg's had 11 years to get ready for the rising sea levels that he believes in because he believes in global warming. What did he do to prepare Lower Manhattan for rising sea levels? What did any of the liberals who run the show out on Long Island? Any of the liberals who run the show in New Jersey? They all believe global warming. One of the tenets of global warming is rising sea levels. What did they do? You could do the same question about New Orleans. Okay, you know you got a problem with the levees. Here's federal money. Build the levees. Make sure we have a flood the levees hold. The money went to the back pocket of the regulators. It was graft, and the levees didn't hold. And you're blaming George W. Bush for it. The people in charge are all what? They're all liberals. They believe things. They tell us they believe in global warming, but Bloomberg didn't prepare Lower Manhattan for rising sea levels. He didn't prepare. He believes this stuff. This stuff matters. He believes sea levels are rising without storms. A storm comes along. Sea levels are already rising. Well, 2 + 2 = 4. And equals floods. Did he do anything to prepare for it? No. Now he okays the marathon. This is the liberal value system. To him, there's value in all this. In the midst of this crisis and aftermath, there's some sort of value to having the marathon there. Now, we know he's also a health nut. You can't drink a soda over 16 ounces. You can't eat with trans fat in it. You can't smoke, no matter what. Well, who are marathon? Well, they're the essence of health freaks. Exactly the kind of people we want in New York. These are ideal people. Can't run a marathon unless you're in shape. Can't run a marathon unless you don't drink 16-ounce larger sodas. You can't run a marathon if you eat trans fat. You can't run a marathon if you smoke. So the marathon people, the ideal citizens, the ideal people, they do everything Bloomberg doesn't want people to do or wants people to do. They're welcome. Now, wherever you go, folks, this hurricane in New York and New Jersey, we talked yesterday, is a case study on the perils of liberalism and socialism. What were we told yesterday by Governor Christie, 2 days ago, Governor Christie and Obama? They both said they're going to get government out of the way in order to speed the recovery. We're going to get rid of the gasoline regulations so that any gas is accepted. We're going to get rid of the red tape. When you call a bureaucracy, they're going to answer the phone in 15 minutes. They're going to get back to you in 15 minutes. In the process, they were admitting that the biggest roadblock to efficiency is government, their precious government that they believe in and run. And they are saying, in this time of crisis, we're going to get rid of it. But don't worry. I mean, we'll build it back when the crisis is over, and we'll put the roadblocks back up, and we'll put the regulations back in, and we'll reinstitute the gasoline regulation, and we'll make it just as hard to get gasoline as it was, and we'll make it just as tough to produce it. And we're going to make it so that you have to wait 2 days to get the call from the bureaucrats instead of 15 minutes. We'll go back to that. Don't worry. But in the middle of the crisis where people really need government, we're going to get government out of their way. Every picture I see out of New York, I don't see progress. I don't see anything happening here. It's a case study. After these big announcements, getting government out of the way, big announcements, no more red tape, no more gasoline regulations, going to speed everything up. They admit that government slows everything down. Didn't intend to, but they did. They admit that government bottlenecks everything. They admit that the enemy of efficiency is a bureaucracy or a series of bureaucracies run by bureaucrats and government people. And in this crisis, they both, Christie and Obama, said we're going to get rid of it. Well, why don't we stay rid of it once we get rid of it? If it's the solution, if smaller government's the answer, it's the answer. And who's running for president on smaller government? Mitt Romney. And when Mitt Romney says that he's going to do exactly what Christie and Obama promised they're going to do in this crisis, what does Obama say about Romney? Well, you can't elect him. He's just going to take us back to the policies that got us in this mess. Really? It just sounds to me like Romney wants to make permanent what you're doing temporarily to speed up the recovery in the aftermath of the hurricane. If you're going to get rid of government, going to get rid of the bottlenecks, going to get rid of the gasoline regulations and others, if you're going to make sure bureaucrats respond to phone calls on time, but only in a time of crisis. And Romney says, you know what? I want to do that every day. I want everything running efficiently every day. I want to have more things taking place in the private sector with a profit motive where people get things done because there's a reason for it. I want it running smoothly. I want government to do what it can do and do it well. And I want it smaller. And they said, well, you can't do that. That's got us into this mess. Really? So, President Obama, we can then say that the temporary measures that you are taking are the same thing that got us into the mess that we're in. Because that's what you say Romney's going to do. Romney is going to take us back to the same policies that got us in this mess. All he's talking about smaller government. You are talking about smaller government. You and Governor Christie, yep, we're going to streamline it all. So, President Obama, you are admitting to people who will listen and put two and two together that the solution to the crisis in the aftermath of Hurricane Sandy is the policies of the past that equal smaller government and more money in individuals' back pockets and more power in the private sector to get things done. And then, by the way, did you guys forget to tell the unions because a bunch of crews from Alabama have been turned away? Did you hear about this? Non-union repair crews from Alabama who drove to New York to help were turned away by New York unionized crews. So you can't. Oh, no, I'm not kidding you. I wouldn't make this up. So you people on Staten Island and elsewhere in that area, there are people from all over the country that want to drive in and help. And if they're not union, they're being turned away. Remember the Jones Act from the BP spill? The Jones Act allows foreign workers to come in and help in a crisis. But the Jones Act, I think, requires that the foreign workers be union. It's a way to protect the unions. Or you got to pay union wages to people to come in or whatever. And so the work didn't get done. They actually are turning away non-union utility repairmen, construction workers, other kind of engineers who want to help out. So what we're going to learn here is the next 3 days you watch. People are going to do, Bloomberg says he's going to take care of it. He's got press conferences. Christie, Obama, they're going to take care of it. They're there. Take care. They're hugging people. Well, let's see. The next 3 days, are going to highlight that for people in that region who want improvement in their lives, they're going to have to do it. Nanny Bloomberg is going to be at the marathon. Euphemistically speaking, these next 3 days are going to illustrate the priorities of liberals and the dependence on the collective. It will showcase the overall damage done by unions. It's a shame, folks, that it is happening. All right, I intended to have played 3 Romney sound bites by now, but I liked what I was saying so much that I just kept wanting to hear me.